So we got a bunch of Target exclusive reveals today to talk about. These come courtesy of the Transformers Hasbro Pulse website, as well as Target's Collector's Spot reveal website. These are all pre-orders that are going live today as of this recording. And, well, I have to give Hasbro credit, whoever works in their exclusives collaboration department with companies. They managed to trick Target real good into thinking they were getting something special and or new. Man. Now, don't get me wrong. I was big on some of these exclusives when they came out the first time. Now, keep in mind, people who are new to the podcast, people who are new to the Transformer fandom, some of these exclusives we got many years ago. One for one, exactly the same. And I guess maybe we could just say that these are the one thing that's special about this is now the Western release of these products in this market. So let's jump into that. We're going to try to explain everything. And yeah. So the first thing we got here is we got two 2-packs. We have the Transformers Collaborative Transformers versus Street Fighter 2 mashup series. Now, these were originally released in 2018 in Takara in the Japanese market, and they were two 2-packs to kind of celebrate the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter. At the time, using the most current and popular Transformer molds, which were Titans Returns molds at the time. That's what was the new hotness back then. And it also kind of worked with that collaboration because the little Titan Masters could also represent the Street Fighter characters in their human forms, transforming into the Headmaster component or the Titan Master component, and being part of the larger bulk robot. So these didn't sell very well back then. I was excited about these. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. Huge. I was there when Street Fighter 2 debuted back in 1990, 91 in the arcades. And I was big on these. Huge big on these. And I picked these up. I accepted that they were expensive back then, but I picked these up just because, hey, it was, that Chun-Li Arcee one was fantastic. The Hot Rod Ken one was pretty cool too. The Bison, Megatron slash, Octane, whatever they were trying to go with there. I'll get into that in a moment. That didn't do as well. But these actually didn't sell very well. I remember going to TFCon 2018 and Big Bad Toy Store, and TF Source had tons of these left over, and they just couldn't move them, and they were actually putting them at a cheaper price. And that's what kind of made me buy the Bison slash Ryu set, because it was like, okay, well, I'm saving $30, now I could have an excuse to buy that one, because the Chun-Li Hot Rod one I bought instantly. I didn't even question that one. That one looked cool. But either way, so these are going to be now available in the Western market. They're one for one exactly the same like the original Takara ones back in 2018. The way that they're being described is now it's celebrating the 35th anniversary of Street Fighter. I think it's just more because we have Street Fighter 6, the video game, coming around the corner. So it's another good kind of marketing ploy and a way to put out the Street Fighter brand in retail to get people excited for then the Street Fighter 6 game. Also, I find Capcom recently has really been throwing around their license very willy-nilly over the past couple of years just to kind of keep them in the pop culture airspace. So to take these toys that didn't do very well the first time around in 2018 and kind of repackage them and put them out there again so they could get a second run in the Western market, maybe someone will buy it. I will say this. The original MSRP on the Hot Rod and Arcee Ken Chun-Li set was originally $79.99. That was the original MSRP back in 2018. Today, they're $74.99, so they're actually cheaper than before. So you can't even say inflation or anything like that. They're actually cheaper than before. Now, for people who aren't aware, again, it's Hot Rod mashed up with Ken from Street Fighter using the Titans Return Hot Rod mold. It's a 100% straight up 100% repaint, no new tooling, nothing like that, to make them look like the robot mode, make them the best they can, make it look like Ken Masters from Street Fighter. And the alt mode is a very hot rod kind of looking alt mode with the Street Fighter 2 logo on his spoiler. The Chun-Li looks fantastic, the Arcee Chun-Li. I mean, I saw people doing kit bashes of this idea long before this product was ever released back in 2018, because, you know, Arcee kind of has those Leia bun / ox horn Chinese inspired kind of design. So pretty cool. I dig it. If anything, that's the set to get. I mean, I understand it's a little pricey for 2 deluxes, especially 2 older deluxes, because it doesn't match even the modern inflation price of $24.99 a deluxe. But these were special releases. They had a lot of paint on them, and they're pretty nice. Again, maybe it's my bias because I really like Street Fighter, but it was a really good, fun little set. The only thing that I have a question about here is because they say that they have, again, inspired, retro kind of box designs. I'm curious if it's the original boxes that came out in Takara were really nice. Is it going to be using those original boxes and kind of just localized, or are they going to make brand new kind of box styles? Because they don't show how the boxes look here. So that's the only thing that interests me, because I'd actually like to just get the Hot Rod and RC set again if they just somehow have like a really nice looking box that's retro inspired and stuff. Because sometimes, it just makes really, really nice displays. We'll see what happens with that. We don't know. The other one, of course, is the mashup Optimus Prime Ryu and Megatron Bison. Again, they call it Optimus Prime and Megatron because what it is back then with Titan's Returns, it was originally the Blitzwing and the Octane mold. At some point, the Blitzwing and the Octane mold were repainted and retooled into Optimus Prime and Megatron. And then what did they do? They took that Optimus Prime and Megatron tooling, specifically those Titan Masters and that head sculpt, and they turned it into Bison and Ryu. This was the weaker set of the two. It was not as appealing. It didn't look as nice. The articulation and just the overall aesthetic wasn't as cool. I love Bison as a character in Street Fighter, but this one just didn't do it for me. And at the time, the original MSRP for this, back in 2018, was $129.99 for that set, which was a big price tag considering it wasn't exactly the best looking product. I believe, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was $30 off, like I said. Big Bad Toy Store and TF Source kind of were like slashing prices, and it then became like under $100 and stuff, and that's when I pulled the trigger. But I mean, to give perspective, here today, again, the original MSRP in 2018 was $129.99. Now it's $112.99. So it's actually cheaper than before. I firmly believe, I think Takara, Hasbro, and maybe even Capcom were aware that these didn't sell well the first time around. Maybe they felt they asked too much. So what they're doing this time around, just to play it safe, is they're asking less. They're asking a smaller MSRP and just repackaging it, not putting it through the factory to repaint it again or add a new deco or a new colored guide or something. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, these are straight up repaints. It has to be something if you really like the Street Fighter brand, which I do, but then also, if you could deal with those prices. Now, both of these are going to be coming out November 1st, 2022. That's probably when they're going to be hitting targets too in retail. Again, I want to see those boxes. That's probably the only thing now that's going to be different for me because the product is exactly the same. And to quote Beast Wars Megatron from Season 2 of Beast Wars, new packaging, same product, losers. So maybe this might not work out in the end. It might not be that great. But again, if you are curious, that Ken Chun-Li Hot Rod RC 2-pack, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like it. But the other one could be a skipper, even at $100, even if it's on special. It's really pricey. Last but not least, the weirdest one of the bunch. Now, this was the rumored product yellow that we had. This was we're doing it. There's a collaborative coming. It's Project Yellow. What's going on with this? People were going, is the Yellow Submarine from the Beatles? Is it this? Is it that? No, it's something even more bizarre, something even more kind of And I think it's another example of something that didn't sell very well. And then it's just Hasbro trying to go, how could we get some more life out of this before we retire it completely? So we have the Transformers Collaborative Tonka mashup, the Tonkanator. And it's just, they took G2 colored Devastator, kinda, I guess. It's really kind of its own color scheme, but it's G2 flavored a little bit. G2 inspired Devastator, put it on the G1 reissue Devastator box set, give it Autobot logos and Tonka logos, and a whole bunch of trademarks that'll probably never be used again, and call it a day. The brand new trademarks, obviously the Tonkanator Combiner Mode, as well as Mega Dozer, Power Digger, Motor Load, Skyhook, Mega Hauler, and Motor Mix to form the mighty Tonkanator. Inspired by Tonka. Yeah. These aren't inspired by Tonka. These are the original Constructicons, a.k.a. the original Diaclone Constructa vehicles from the early 80s. And they're just, they have brand new decos put on them to kind of give them that Tonka kind of flavor, which is, it's Autobot Constructicons that are now Tonka branded. And again, this one, unlike the last two we just talked about, so the original MSRP on that Devastator box set when it was available at Walmart was $76.97. That was back in 2018 of December. Today, the pre-order is at $104.99. And I mean, you could argue inflation, sure, but that's a big chunk more money, almost $30 more, for pretty much the same product, except just has new decos on it. That's it. Granted, it's unique, it's different, and again, I want to see what that special retro styled packaging is going to look like. That's what I'm more interested in than anything, is how it's going to look in the box, because this is something that I'm not appealed by its engineering or transformation. I've owned this mold 1,000,000 times over, so it's not really a big thing for me. But how does that packaging look? I don't know. This is another weird one. I mean, it's not. I don't like, number one, Hasbro owns Tonka. That was something they acquired back in the late 80s when they bought out Tonka, and as a result got GoBots in the process too. It's, I don't know. It's kind of silly. I honestly think that if they would have done a Shattered Glass repaint of this, and there's a Shattered Glass Devastator out there in terms of that color scheme, if they would have done a Shattered Glass repaint and put that out there, I think that would have sold 1,000,000 times better. But the Shattered Glass thing is kind of reserved to Walmart, so this is a Target thing. So I think that's probably the first thing that put the stops on that. If they would have done a simple G2 Devastator color scheme, I think that would have probably appealed to people more. This is just a weird Tonka Autobot thing, which is just, it doesn't speak to nobody. It's just like, hey, yeah, that's a thing. Heck, if they could have just reissued that Devastator again, because it kind of had a short run in some regions, maybe that would have been a better chance for people. I think a lot of people would have still probably bought Devastator G1 again at $104.99. But that's just my take. I mean, I think this is a silly idea, but whatever. When it goes on sale, I'll pick it up, and then I'll have it. And then if the box looks nice, I'll buy it. Again, this is a weird thing. I really feel I got to talk to whoever at Hasbro that worked this out with Target and go like, man, you really sold them on some new ideas that are really kind of old stuff. But out of all of this, look, pick up the Hot Rod Arcee Chun-Li Ken Street Fighter 2 pack at $74.99. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. And again, that Arcee mold is still pretty awesome. It's that old Thrilling 31. Kind of works. I think the Arcee is the winner out of all of this here. If you could just get one figure, just get that Arcee one as Chun-Li. Everything else is kind of eh. But it is what it is. Let me know what you think. Oh, and by the way, that Tonka one there, that's supposed to show up in the Christmas season again, December 1st, 2022. So, yeah, it is what it is. We still have other news. We have some other Target-related exclusive news coming, and I think it's a lot more exciting than this one. I'll see you later today when we talk about that one.